Good evening and welcome to the Finance Committee. It is March 18th, 2026. May I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Grumney,
Here.
Mr. Long,
Here.
Mr. Gose,
Here.
Mrs. Crawford, here, Mrs. Cooper, here, Mr. Capel,
Here.
Mayor St. John is absent, 6 present, we have quorum.
Thank you. The mayor indicated he will be about 10 to 15 minutes late. Excuse me, won't be joining us. So we have minutes from the February 18th meeting. Hopefully people had a chance to review and looking for a motion to approve.
No motion. I'll second.
Okay, discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Gose,
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Abstain.
Mrs. Cooper, yes, Mrs. Crawford, yes. 5 yeas, motion approved.
Okay, thank you. And I think that moves us right into Ms. Steffen and talking about investment strategy and recent transactions.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Grumney. Good evening, Finance Committee. On page 4 of your packet, I put together a 2-page memo, and I wanted to just discuss what I had done in the month of March, February and March, in regards to our bank balances. At the bottom of page 4, as you can see, we have 3 different buckets for our bank balances. And just so you know, this is estimated as of March 31st. This is a future projection, just FYI. But as you can see, we have the majority of our money in Fifth Third Securities. Star Ohio has a portion of our money, and also First Commonwealth Bank. First Commonwealth is primarily our operating account, so that's what we pay checks from, payroll, and everything. The Star Ohio and Fifth Third Securities accounts act as more of investment accounts. So as you all know, interest rates were quite high throughout 2024 and 2025, higher than 5% in a lot of cases. It was really creating higher than average interest earnings on our, our Star Ohio balances. They have overnight liquidity rates set by the Fed, and they mirror their rates based on the Federal Reserve. Since they were so high during those years, those rates were outperforming the returns on even our laddered investments that were at Fifth Third Securities, which are intended to grow faster than the overnight securities or the overnight liquidity. So continuing to invest our funds through Star Ohio during that 2-year period was really a good financial strategy for the city because the rates were so high. Recently, late 2025, the rates have begun to decline. And so in order to help capture the gains that we've earned and secure those, we're going to move some of our money from Star Ohio and into more of the laddered investments so that we can capture those gains and reinvest that interest earned to grow our money even more. So earlier this month, what I've done is I've transferred $4 million from Star Ohio and put it into the Fifth Third Securities investment account. Just wanted to communicate that to you so that you know where our money is going, and there's not everything's very transparent.
Stone, could you just educate me on laddered investments? What
Yes.
that means?
So the laddered investments are typically like 3 month to up. They can go up to 5 years of investments, all governed by the Ohio Revised Code and what we can invest in. But they are typically money markets, treasury bills, commercial paper, things like that. So they're laddered in that they can all come to maturity at different times, hence the laddered term. So some of them have call dates, some have non-call dates. So they're laddered in that we'll be receiving returns on those whenever they are realized or whenever the term ends, and then continually invested again. So whenever new funds, whenever the fund ends, then it's reinvested again. So
We're just capturing the gains we got through the higher interest rate, kind of not freezing that, but moving those gains into something that's going to continue to grow versus decline if the rates continue to drop.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
yes, and on the next page, I've provided some historical percentage yields over the past 2 years so that you could kind of see the trends in what we have experienced. The red line, sorry, let's talk about the green line. Well, let's do the blue line first. That's First Commonwealth Bank. This is going to be the lowest interest yield account. It's our First Commonwealth where we keep all of our operating money. Typically, it's about 3%. Star Ohio is the red line. And as you can see earlier in 24 and 25, it was giving a higher yield than even the First Commonwealth and the Fifth Third Securities account. And as you can see over time, it's been trending downward. And now as recently as January and February of this year, the Star Ohio rates are falling below what we're earning at Fifth Third Securities. So I do expect to see that trend continuing. Therefore, I believe this approach will capitalize and give us the best bang for our buck, so to speak. I've also included a chart down at the bottom for total deposits and investments so that you can see our cash balances over the years. And out on the right, we have 2019. We had about $16 million in total deposits and investments. And then 6 years later, we've got 22.3 million in our deposits and investments in total. So no council action is required, but I just wanted to give you this information so that you can see what I'm thinking about when I'm looking at the investments and how we can utilize them to our best advantage for the city. Happy to answer any questions.
Well, thank you for looking out for the city and in best interest with the funds, so. Any questions from Ms. Stefan on there? Okay, thank you. I think that moves us to ClearGov.
Yeah, I'm going to switch seats with Alyssa. Okay. All right. Okay, so on the screen, so this is ClearGov, and wanted to show council and finance committee what we have available to us in ClearGov and what it looks like right now. This information is all, it's not public facing, so this is just all internal information at the moment, but it can all be public facing just with the click of a button. So here you can see I'm logged in, and I'm going to go down here to capital improvement plan. And I'm going to click on preview document. So this is going to generate what we have included in our capital improvement plan in a budget book format. So there's a lot of space saving pages in here that we can input a lot of information that's, you know, currently not in here yet, but we have the ability to put a bunch of information in here.
Mr. Can I ask real quick, Mark, are you familiar with ClearGov and what this is?
No, is this for the public or for us or for who?
Both, actually. Thank you. I'll give a brief.
Yeah, just maybe real quick.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, no problem.
And Nancy, yes, I'm sorry, Nancy. I just figured Nancy knew. She's in it. Or does she not know?
ClearGov is a budgeting and forecasting tool. And within here, we have capital budgeting, personnel budgeting, and operational budgeting. So we can download all of our data from Civica, and it can be imported directly into this format here, and we can modify it and look at different charts and things, and it helps us with budgeting and forecasting. So I'll show you a little bit of what that looks like in the budget book for the capital improvement plan.
So probably also important to note, I mean, we just recently purchased this software capability. So, you know, this is a new tool that the city is starting to use. Dana has been, I think, our principal lead. I don't even know if you've got another member of the team helping you or not, but
Yeah.
so, yeah, so taking a little bit of time to get all of the data in there, but yeah, I think we had asked for, or council had asked for an update. And so that's why we're back in front of you.
And just out of clarity, the reason why we did it was
We didn't have any kind of tool in the past. I mean, the forecasting, I mean, we did forecasting, but through a spreadsheet for the most part. I mean, feel like this gives us more functionality, more capability, I guess, to be able to, you know, a more complex organization today than we were, you know, 2-3 years ago. And feel like this is a step forward to help us better manage the resources.
Yeah, and hopefully I can show you some of those nice features here.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is all just going to be capital improvements. So for our 1-year plan, I've entered all the capital improvements that Carla has provided. So you can see we've got about $22 million in capital for just this year in 2026. And it's broken down by department down here. And I'm going to show you the multi-year plan for next because we'll have some more better information here. So we have a multiple year capital improvement plan here. And as you can see for 2026, we have all the different buckets and what the money is going to be spent. And for 27, 28, and we can build it out as far as we like, and we can put as much information in here as we like or as little as we like as well. So
Yeah, and
rolling
and
down.
probably important to note that only the 2026 year has been approved by city council for the budget. So, but one of the things that we'd ask Carla and Dana to work on is trying to project out a longer capital budget plan. I think we're trying for 5. We're at about 3 now. Yeah.
So yeah, this is our attempt to get to the 5-year capital improvement plan. We're going to get there. So you can see for a project such as the wastewater treatment plant expansion, we've built that out for up through 2028, which we expect the project to end at that point. So we can see the different years that we'll spend those funds. And we could even click on this and it'll take us to its specific page where it'll have an overview of the project. Of course, a lot of this information is minimal right now, but it can be more robust, of course. Total budget for all years is shown, what's requested in each year. Also, it provides information where we can include a funding source as well. Okay, so that's the wastewater treatment plant. Going back to the 1-year plan, multi-year plan. Project types. We can even see it broken down by project type, so we can see how much we're spending on water and sewer capital projects versus roadways, buildings and facilities, other, and so forth. And this has all the projects under the water and sewer category, projects under roadways, building and facilities, other improvements, equipment, computers, etc. It can be broken down by department. Let's see. We go into capital projects. We can see a list of all the capital projects here. And or can go and click on any one of these and it'll take us to the main page, Freedom Park Shelter House. Now this isn't budgeted out until 2029. But it helps us to keep things on track and so that we don't lose sight of things and hopefully moving towards building out that 5-year capital plan.
Yeah, are there thoughts of turning some of this on for the public to see? And how much can they drill down first?
Absolutely. I think public transparency is definitely something that we want to help and continue to do. So these, I believe the entire budget book would be visible if I turned it on to the public, but I know that it's very customizable, ClearGov is. So we can customize pretty much anything in here. It just, if you know, you just have to know how to do it. So that's part of the reason it's been taking me so long to get through this is because there's so many things that it can do. And it's been a big learning curve for me.
But John, one thing I might add, I mean, at this point, the capital plan, the out years, we haven't really worked that through city council yet.
Right.
I mean, I think there are a lot of projects on there you would see that you would say, oh yeah, I recognize that, clearly understand what's going on. But some of those out years are just sort of anticipated projects that we've, as a staff have started to at least identify, again, just so we're capturing those, we don't lose them. There's really no magic at the moment as to whether that's 27, 28, 29. So it might be a little early to be putting a capital plan out to the public that's got out years that have not been approved by council. So,
Right.
I mean,
Can you limit what they can see?
well, I was gonna say, maybe we had a little bit more time to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can certainly limit it. It's very customizable.
Okay.
Will this eventually have also actuals as you progress through the year?
Absolutely. So this is just capital projects. So this is just more for looking into the future and current. But if we go back to the ClearGov dashboard and say if we looked at operational, this would have some of the current information in here. So this is going to look like a lot of just data, which it is. It's not going to be very helpful for you, but this is where we would enter all the actual, the projected data. Yeah.
And then we'll have a history as we
History.
progress
Mhm.
forward. Okay.
Absolutely. Yes. In fact, I think when I uploaded the data initially, we went back several years, maybe 2022, I think it was. So we have some historical data in here already. Another, I guess, challenge is with us being a growing organization, we have new funds often, and we're kind of reorganizing some things within the city and different departments. All those changes have an effect on how this is set up. So I have to think through if we're making a change to a department, that's best done, at the forefront instead of after the fact, because it might be more difficult to move things around. So that's just a little challenge that I'm trying to work through. But overall, it's a wonderful tool. I really enjoy it now that I'm finally getting the hang of it. So I think it would be really beneficial. And once the public can see it too, they can have all that transparency and information at their fingertips.
And then how often is it updated? Is it something manual or they automatically communicate?
It's not automatic, so it'll be a manual update. So I can go in here and update manually, or I can do a dump from the system and send it to ClearGov for them to import. But if I do have to send them information, it only takes less than a day to get the information in there. So it's pretty current.
Okay.
Will this eventually allow you to do like all of your work here and you can create reports and everything right from the ClearGov?
Not independently, no. I won't be able to use ClearGov to like post transactions. We still have to have our Civica software to post, the accounting transactions and move money and things. This is more of a tool to present all the data in various different formats and help project for the future. So I will look forward to having more presentations on on operational and personnel budgeting in the future. And Carla and I are going to start working on entering these capital projects and getting those pages really nice and neat and put together.
Thank you.
School district is using this as well,
Hmm.
and they're kind of on a similar path in terms of onboarding this. I didn't know if there's other municipalities that we have in the like region or area we can look at that perhaps have already implemented this, and so we can let their mistakes be our.
Yeah,
our-
I'll have to look into that and see other
I
municipalities.
understand that what you were explaining are the challenges. I mean, you want to construct it right foundationally from the beginning, and as we're scaling or growing and departments shift or just the way you categorize things change, it can cause a lot of rework.
Exactly. Like just as a quick example, as you can see in, I think it's so see this basic utility services, land and buildings, 24 million. You're going to look at that and say, what is that? That's the sewer account. So, but we also have a sewer account here. So this is actually a department within the sewer fund. So, I don't really like the way these are displayed or segregated. So that's something that I'm looking to improve.
You do it, you do it like based off cost center and fund and things like that.
Like from department or expenditures.
So I'm just thinking I'd say the way that I think the majority of companies probably do it is like you have funds, and then within the funds you have cost centers, which I think we have, right?
Departments is what we call
Okay,
them.
departments. So we have different cost center hierarchies. So let's say like operations and technology and human resources, and then below there may be like east, west, south region, or I don't know, something like that. And then there's the additional drill down capability, but you can almost like if you want to really drill down, you can go down to like the finite level where it's like department manager. I assume Cardinal probably uses something similar to that.
Yes.
Yeah, that was where I was going with the question of like, I don't know, does Upper Arlington or somebody use this, or Hilliard or anybody else that's like gone through the trials and tribulations of on board.
I'll look into that and see, but I was in contact with Scott. He's the interim CFO over there, and he offered to give me a quick little tutorial on this too, because he's a big proponent and he's a supporter of ClearGov. He loves it.
Perfect, thanks.
Yep.
That's the school district, Scott?
Yeah.
Scott Gooding,
Yeah, good. Okay.
thank you.
If there's no other questions, thank you for that update. And then I think that moves us to the topic of capital assets, 2025 additions.
Okay, so as I was updating our asset listing, I thought council might be interested in looking at what we've purchased in 2025 as far as equipment and general improvements of the city. So on page 6 of your packet, I've listed 2 categories of information. At the top, I have capital projects, and at the bottom is capital equipment. So just to run through this list briefly or quickly, in the capital projects, we've done the East Granville Street widening. We've spent $332,000 on that. Also the Walnut Street project, wastewater treatment plant, Cheshire, lift station upgrades, et cetera, et cetera. So you can see where we're spending the majority of our money, $9.5 million for the wastewater treatment plant expansion. Also on the 2025 street improvement program, we spent $866,000. So I just wanted to show council what we've spent our money on last year. And the capital equipment, as you can see, we've purchased a cargo van for the wastewater treatment plant. And services, they've purchased several rapid flasher beacons and school zone flashers, more equipment, 2 trailers, a mower, a couple different mowers. And also at the bottom, there's 2 different charges combined. That is a plow truck, a big plow truck that the services department purchased. Also, the city vehicle for the admin department was purchased this year from Reichert. And the police department, their capital purchases include some phasers, the annual lease payment on the Durangos, and also a new breathalyzer machine. So, any questions on the capital additions?
Questions? Well, thank you for that transparency. Appreciate it. So I think that takes us to our monthly, regular scheduled programming. with
Yes,
the,
this is regularly scheduled programming.
Yeah.
So starting on page 7, I have the year-to-date revenue report through February. It's only February, so we have very little data so far. Everything is looking pretty standard and coming in as expected. Going through the general fund, nothing stands out particularly that needs to be brought to your attention, so we'll move on. Really nothing in revenues is worth mentioning at this point. So I'll just skip on right over to expenses unless anyone has questions on revenues. Okay. In the expenses, starting on page 11, and just for the benefit of some newer council members who may not be aware, what these reports are is they're looking at what we've appropriated or budgeted for the year, compared that to what we've spent year to date proportionately, and seeing if that's 10% more or less than what we expect. So anything that's 10% more or less than what we expect, I have highlighted in yellow. So I'll just talk about those items. Starting with the general fund and benefits for the police, we're a little bit higher spending there because of the HSA funding that occurred in January and a large balance to workers' comp. And that was driving the cost unproportionately high. Towing expenses, we've towed 6 vehicles so far, so that's trending a little high. Cruiser repair is high, specifically for the repair for cruiser number 98. It was an insurance claim, and we do expect to receive full reimbursement for that. Under police supplies, they've purchased some shields and entry tools, gasoline as well, and some in-car cameras. That's driving up the cost there. And officer uniforms, we did our annual payout to the officers and sergeants for the uniform allowance, which is why the percentage is higher for this time of year.
And Ms. Devon, not that this is the reason in this case, but a lot of this always comes down to timing, Correct. So I mean, they're budget items, and as we look at this in the end of the year, we're not gonna see that the supplies for police is 119%. Or, you know,
Right.
it's just, so it's kind of timing of the purchases.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. Okay, the next yellow item is in the zoning department for supplies. It's a small dollar amount, so really nothing to talk about there. Page 12. We've got some mayor's court expenses that are running a little high right now, so I'll keep an eye on those. Just some timing differences in the fiscal for the benefits, just because of the payrolls for the year. Down in repairs and maintenance for the street department, we've spent some $8,600 on Western Star repairs, and a high capacity air compressor was purchased. On page 13, we've paid some debt service, and this is a great example of a timing issue because there are two payments made during the year, one in January, one in July. So therefore, if we pay January, it's going to show 50% spent, and we're not 50% through the year, so that's going to be out of whack. Capital Highway, this is due to the Safe Streets for All Roadway Safety Action Plan. Expenses that rolled over into 2026 from 2025. In the Mayor's Court Computer Fund, they are purchasing a new printer, so that's what that spending is. And then on to page 14.
Wait, printer.
I think it was two. I think it was two printers actually. And then in the sewer. In the sewer fund on page 14, there's some yellow items. Wages, just a little bit higher than what we expect due to the 3 payrolls in January. And then supplies are quite high due to some necessary expenses there in gasoline and propane. Contractual services is high, AEP and Delco Water. I think we can probably expect to see those continue to be high, at least the AEP. The note principal and interest payments, of course, those are showing at 50% spent because we paid one of 2 semi-annual payments so far. And then the very last one at the bottom, capital outlay for streets. We've spent about 29% of the budget, and that's just bills related to 2025 street improvement program in Columbus Street parking lot.
There's a question back on page 13 with the Safe Streets for All. So I know we got the grant, I think it was $150,000. So the expense here, is that the match that, or is that the 30,000 or 33,000 or match the city came up with for that program?
No, not necessarily. No. So it's a reimbursable grant. So the city fronts the money and then gets reimbursed. So what happened there was this bill, the invoice from Verdantis came in 2020. Well, it probably came in at 2025, but didn't get paid until 2026. So when it comes to the grant and submitting those reimbursable funds for reimbursement, we communicate all that information to the federal agency based on the invoice. And then
So that amount will get wiped out at some point throughout the year as we get reimbursed or
we've already been reimbursed for
Okay.
that. So this is just a timing
gotcha.
difference.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. I wish it were all neat and matched up,
Yeah, I bet.
but when you have multiple years, it's hard to do that.
CareGov doesn't do that for you?
I
Okay, all right,
don't think so.
all right.
Happy to answer any other questions.
Yeah, I have a couple questions on the revenue stuff, specific to like the impact fees where we're 3% on revenue. I
Okay.
think that's just, I don't, page
Okay.
8.
Yes, PJ, I see where you are.
There's quite a few of them with pretty large revenue numbers with a low percentage.
Yeah.
They're concerned,
I can
maybe I
talk
don't
about
know
that.
how the impact fees are working this year.
Okay, let me talk a little bit about the impact fees. So the impact fees are calculated and estimated based on number of home builds that we expect for the year and any new developments that are coming in that have large impact fees related to them. Like for example, the Kittner Crossing, they'll pay large impact fees. So when I budget for the year, I get with Alex and he communicates what he's expecting to get for the year. And these impact fees do include some of those larger payments that we're expecting to get in 2026 for development. So right now, through January and February, we've only received impact fees for new builds. So they're going to be much lower than when we get the checks for the impact fees for the large developments. So that's why we're only showing a small portion collected so far. We really have only collected a small portion, but once we get one of those larger development checks, our percentage will go up considerably.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's fee based on any new development. There's different fee structures for single family homes, it's a set amount for a single family home. But for commercial and industrial, it's based on square footage. So if you think of like Ohashi or Hitachi Astemo, they were doing expansions. There's a calculation that basically generates a square footage cost. And I think those are some of the larger lump sum payments that Dana was referencing.
Okay.
When you talk about run rating, single family residential, you can typically look back in time and just say, okay, it's going to be either flat or maybe a little bit increase. Actually, last year we went down, I think, in single family permits. Don't note me on that, but I think we're down compared to where we were a couple of years ago. So that could be a little bit like why we're under. And then, but when you think of like Bell Stores or something like that, where it's like completely new commercial development, that's where you're going to get like the larger, like, I don't know, $15,000 check or $25,000 check. And then it's split up into different categories. So single family homes pays into all four of the categories: municipal, police, parks, roads. But if you think of like an industrial development, they wouldn't be paying into parks, or is it just parks?
I think parks is the only one they don't pay.
Right. Businesses aren't paying into the park system, but they are paying into roads and police and municipal.
Nice. And then my other question probably goes back to the cost centers, the departments. Is the way to look at this, the fund number, is that what you call the department?
No, well, no. It might be easier if we look at funds. If you go to page, the very last page, I believe. Yeah, page 20, the very last page of your packet. I'll just reference this real quick. So you can look at the fund numbers on the left-hand side and then the fund description. So 101 is the general fund, but within the general fund, we've got police department, services department, mayor's court department, administrative, legislative, all those different cost centers or departments.
Okay.
Now, these other funds may also have those departments as well. Not all of them will, but some will. Like the sewer fund will have various departments within it. So does that help answer your question?
It does a little bit.
Yeah, government accounting is quite different from probably what you're used to.
Yeah.
I think these numbers, I think of, that's not right. I was gonna say general ledger funds, but that's general ledger accounts, but that's not exactly true either.
But your departments are always inside of the fund. They don't cross over funds, departments.
Right. That's true. But there could be the same department could be in the same department could be part of multiple funds.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a
Like
police.
streets.
Yeah, I was gonna say streets might be a good example.
Streets could have, I don't know, like street maintenance, but they also could have, I don't know, park maintenance and
Yes.
tree fees and things like that.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yeah, and maybe if I could say this right, so I mean, if you look at the fund account, that last page, there's a general fund, a street fund, and state highway fund. So the street fund, the general operational cost of the street department are in the general fund, but we do get monies through these other sources as well, which may then go to support a street related initiative like the street fund or the state highway fund. So again, they can sometimes cross over, but yeah, it isn't a perfect science.
It's not.
Well, it is, I guess it is.
It is a perfect science.
It's accounting. It's accounting.
It's not intuitive.
Yes, it's not
And
intuitive.
the way
It's probably better.
we receive money, there's some that are just like limited purpose. So like sewer fund is a perfect example. Like you can't use sewer revenues for anything else other than sewer repairs or sewer chemicals. And in some cases, there's even more prescriptive, like sewer tap fees can only be used to pay off debt of capital and things like that.
Thank you.
Great questions. Yeah, I appreciate questions like that because I sometimes forget what our newer council members know and what you don't know yet. So think that's all of my comparison reports. So should we move on?
Yep, bank
Okay.
and book reconciliation, check register.
All right, if we just look back at the agenda on page 1, I'll go through the bank reconciliation at the bottom. So as of February 28th, we have all of our bank balances listed here. At Fifth Third Securities, we had about 12 million. Star Ohio had 3.4 million. First Commonwealth Bank had 8 million. Total of $23,609,514.04. Just one little quick side note. The First Commonwealth Bank balance is 8 million. If you recall, when I was talking about bank balances and I moved all that money, that First Commonwealth Bank balance, so I moved the money from Star Ohio. It had to go to First Commonwealth Bank first and then to Fifth Third Securities. So you're seeing a little bit of the interim balance there. It's really not important, but I just wanted to mention it in case anyone's like, well, why is there an $8 million balance there? No, really not.
And they're letting you move that all in one transaction?
I
Or are
did
they
separate
forcing you to separate?
I split it up, yeah. Transactions. So our total bank balance at the end of February was $23,609,514.04. We had outstanding checks identified of $171,000, bringing our bank balance to $23,437,848.81. Our book balance was slightly less than that, with a variance of $80,464.23. All of the variances have been identified and can be provided for support. They've been reconciled and identified that they're either timing differences and will go away through the month of March, or they were errors and needed to be fixed, but either one of those is true. And also in the year-to-date chart for the income tax, just above the table we were just looking at, I'll go through the income tax categories and what we've received year-to-date compared to what we received year-to-date in the past 5 years. So withholding taxes reached $609,000 through February. Individual taxes, $205,000, and net profit just over $60,000, bringing us to a total tax revenue through February of $875,928. That's an increase of 7.7% over the same period last year, and somewhat more comparatively related to the year 2024. If you look back to that year, we're pretty similar there. That's all I have.
Any questions from council? Okay. Any further, Dana or Daryl?
Nope, not for me.
Okay. If there's no other questions, then
Is that newer unfinished business?
oh, yes, no, yeah.
All right,
Daryl.
I just wanted to make sure that, I've noticed that there's been cars running into trees lately and, kills the tree, and thank goodness people aren't like seriously injured, but I mean, when snow plows hit trees, and I'm talking about the ones that are in the right of way, so along Miller Drive, behind Kroger, Fairland Drive, in front of GRE, there's been at least probably 5 trees and just a pretty small section that, believe are city responsibility or city owned. We just haven't replaced them. I talked to Aaron Noblet about this. I think we should replace them, maybe not in the exact same spot, but within close proximity, just to keep with character. And I just want to make sure we have a budget for that going forward.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nate. Any other unfinished or new business discussed? Okay, waiting for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Ms. Cooper seconded. Okay, Mayor motion. Ms. Cooper second. Roll call, please.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper.
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mr. Capel.
Yes.
Mr. Ghost,
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford. Yes.